All right, we are just spinning. Oh, here we go. All right. We do have a count. All right. So that's a start. Let's take a look. Oh. I think we might be back in business. We'll see if I can see. Hey, I think yes, echo. It seems to be working. We
All right.
apologize for the delay. We had a little technical difficulty with StreamYard today, but we did not want to cancel. Thank you for your patience, and we'll hopefully have that bug worked out before our next time. But since I can see that people are able to see us, and we do seem to be recording, we are going to go ahead and kick this thing off right away without any further ado in 3, 2.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, and this week also sponsored by the MapBlazer app. Their smart algorithm sets the perfect theme park visit order for you, much like Waze does for driving, but tailored specifically for theme parks. Visit them at mapblazer.com. All right, I am Seth.
And I'm Blake.
And we are here to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more, as well as what's going on in our own lives. Blake, thank you for stepping in again while Carly is
Of
off
course.
on an adventure. Always good to have you. Please, what have you been up to as the master of attractions and all of our content?
I am still recovering a little bit from my big Orlando trip for the opening of Epic Universe. Still kind of processing all of that. Just such a huge special thing to be
Yeah.
able to attend and be there for the opening of that. So still kind of
Absolutely.
processing all of that. I was in Asheville, North
Oh,
Carolina this weekend with some family. Got to go to some cool places out there, and yeah, just enjoying seeing people. Shameless plug, seeing people finally get our print
yes.
magazine in the mail and post with it, and kind of seeing it out in the wild and in readers' hands is so exciting. And Seth
I
wrote an article for that, and
yes, I did.
photos
And
for it, and yeah.
I can't wait. It is in the mail on its way to me, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. It was really exciting. Yeah, Epic seems like a long time ago to me, because since we did that, I had another whole weekend of the Orlando Fringe Festival, and then I ran off to California where I had almost 8 days at
Wow.
Disneyland Resort. And I was actually in the park when some news broke that we are going to be talking about a little later in the show. It's very exciting. It was a great trip out there. Love seeing Disneyland all decorated for the 70th. We'll
That's
be going
right.
back in a few more weeks after the rest of the 70th stuff finally opens.
Nice.
Um, but a lot of exciting stuff happening at that resort. But I was a little sad that my flight was just a little bit too late and I missed the closing of Muppet Vision, which is not one of our stories. We've talked about it a lot, but I want to give a shout out to all of the cast members throughout the years who brought that show to life. And my friend Heather Henson, who Jim Henson's daughter, who was the last person in through the doors. I know it was a really
Very cool.
emotional night for her and for a lot of people there. And sorry I couldn't be there, but I did get to pay one last visit. I'm glad I did. And I'm hoping at least some of those animatronics can live on inside maybe the pre-show of the of the new attraction. I mean,
Yeah, surely Statler and Waldorf has something to say about Rock and Roller Coaster.
Absolutely. I saw some great fan concept art that had the Statler and Waldorf animatronics up above like the bridge that you launch into the tunnel at this heckling you as you're about to start the ride. And I think that's a genius choice. And I also all right, this is a deep cut, but if you remember the first few years of Rock and Roller Coaster, there used to be a live actor in the pre-show who when one of the Aerosmith members on the screens asks for his guitar, someone would actually come into the room, into the studio, and grab a physical guitar that was sitting there and walk back into the door, and then you see an arm on the screen hand a guitar.
Wow.
No one ever notices that. Look for that the next time you're in there. That position was cut forever ago. But I say that Sweetums should come through, and there should be a live Sweetums in the pre-show.
That would be amazing. I didn't know that. That's so cool,
yeah.
though.
Yeah. That's a deep cut. Okay. So without any further ado, since we were already starting a little bit late because we had some technical issues, we are just going to go right ahead and jump right into the news in the queue. First up, we are starting at Universal Orlando. Not talking about Epic Universe for a change. We are finally talking about Halloween Horror Nights. All the Epic hype kind of had people on edge about when they were going to finally start announcing Halloween. Well, we've got it all. We got dates, we got tickets, and we've got a couple of the first IPs that are part of the event, which starts at Universal Studios Florida on August 29th, right around the corner. Haunted houses are back, of course, scare zones, live entertainment. And the first two IPs that we have are Five Nights at Freddy's and Fallout. Where is your hype meter for this year's Halloween Horror Nights?
So I gotta be honest with you, Seth. Halloween Horror Nights is kind of, I'm not as into it as a lot of other theme park fans are. I respect it. I love the community behind it. I love that it gets people excited to go to that park and that it's an event that people look forward to. And it's obviously very well done. I've done it once. I feel like for me, it doesn't have to be an every year thing, but I'm glad that other people love it so much.
It's not everyone's thing for a lot of reasons. Some people are just not into horror and scares. And honestly, if they turned into an event that everyone would go to, even if they don't like horror, then it wouldn't be Halloween Horror Nights anymore.
For sure.
There's years where they've definitely leaned into more like family friendly and mainstream stuff. So
the lights on tour is probably more
the light. Yes,
I would
absolutely. A lot of people who are not into jump scares, not into the crowds, they say that taking one of those unmasking horror tours, which are on sale, and we'll be talking about it in a second, have really turned them around on the event. But select dates between August 29th and November 2nd this year. This is happening only at Universal Studios Florida. So any rumors you heard that, they might do it at Epic or back to Islands of Adventure, not happening, at least not in 2025. But what is happening is the RIP tours, the express passes, and that premium Scream Night, which, a lot of people who went the first time said it was, a great deal, and they probably never see that deal again. Well, it is back. The prices for everything have gone up, and we'll go over that in a second. But we can talk about, that might be a good value if you take advantage of it. So running down the prices real quick. We got a single night ticket starting at $83. That premium Scream Night that I talked about, and we'll go into the details in a second, that is going to be $375. Express passes start at $140, and of course you have to have regular admission. Same thing with the RIP tours, which start at $370 but are going to be way over $370 for most nights. And that Unmasking the Horror Tour, the daytime tour, starts at $85, and This one's a bit of a jump. That Scream early ticket, which I've always advocated, it gets you into the park at 3 p.m. if you don't have an annual pass or a day ticket, and it lets you get a jump on the first few houses. Can be almost more valuable than an express pass on some nights. That's going up to $55. I remember that when that was a $20 upcharge. So
Wow.
that's a big leap. So of all of these, if you know, the Unmasking the Horror tour, interestingly, this year they are adding something new on. If you take the 6-house tour, you can pick either three houses or 6 houses. The 6-house tour now includes lunch, so that makes it a little bit better bargain. So aside from that behind the scenes tour, which of these options do you think you would go for?
I mean, I think I'm along with what you just said about being. I'm surprised the premium Scream Night is back. That
Yeah.
debuted in 2024 is like a one night. You know,
Mhm.
it's the night before opening night. It's, from what we understand, lower capacity. It's a higher price, and you pretty much have the place to yourself almost. Not quite, you know, obviously.
Yeah, I mean,
not really,
the
but
reports from the first time they did this last year seemed too good to be true. It was kind of like the Halloween Horror Nights that I remember from the mid 90s, when it was still like Orlando was dead that time of year, and they did this just kind of out of desperation at like, how can we get a few bodies
okay.
into the park? And before it, you know, before Jack the Clown and before all the IPs, and when it was still like a locals event and not something that people flew from all over the world to see, and you had pulsed houses. That is something that we lost 30 years ago, you know, 25 years ago. And the ability to go through these haunted houses, not just with an RIP tour that cuts you past the line, but still shoves you into the conga line, but actual staggered entry, what those of us who have worked haunted houses call pulsing, where you have a short group, you know, a half dozen or a dozen people at a time, and then you give a pause, and that pause allows, first of all, so the people in the front, you know, don't have a clear line of sight of where the path is, where the people are coming from, and the actors have time to reset and take a breath and plan their scares strategically, and they're not just human animatronics jumping out of a boo hole on a, you know, 30-second loop. It's a totally different experience. And given that, you know, even say you have admission because you've got an annual pass that comes with a free ticket or whatever, the price difference between an RIP tour, and I've taken the RIP tours, are amazing, but I would rather be there for this all-inclusive night than an
And you get
RIP
all
tour,
the
I think.
food too, right?
Yeah, all the non-alcoholic beverages and select food, all you can eat, and you know, free self-parking. Hey, I mean, at 375, that sounds like a real bargain to me. We'll have to see if that's I haven't checked the website today. I'll have to see if that is sold out by the time this podcast actually gets posted. So the two headline IPs that we have already announced is Fallout, which is based on both the Amazon TV series and the original computer role-playing games, which I remember all the way back to the original Fallout on, I think, my Apple II, like going way back, before all the remakes and sequels. And then Five Nights at Freddy's, which has been part of the Halloween Horror Nights before as a photo op at City Walk. They say that it will be. They've said it's part of Halloween Horror Nights in a whole new way, and a lot of people are speculating. Does that mean it's not a haunted house, or just means different from the photo op that they had before? So we have not gotten a official announcement of that yet. But what other do you have any other dream IPs or rumors or any speculation that you want to add to our Halloween Horror Nights info before we close it out?
So the Five Nights at Freddy's is very, you know, if it's I think what do they mean? What is that whole new way? Is that sort of, I don't know. Are we looking at some sort of cavalcade with like the characters or animatronics,
Right.
kind of like creepily going through the park? Is that kind of like
Well,
will be some sort of meet and greet, or
I really hope not, because the Megan horde created such a traffic logjam and
Okay.
questionable safety issues. Can you imagine how much worse that would be if they had poor performers in, Freddy Fazbear suits they can't even see out of, getting, tackled in the streets? That would No, what I would love to see is they turn Richter's or one of those into Freddy Fazbear's, or I guess it would be pizza, so maybe Louis.
Yeah, like
And
actual venue.
yeah, and transform it into a restaurant with characters.
That would be
That would
cool.
be really cool. But I personally think that a haunted maze is probably the most likely. But we will have to wait and see, and I'm sure we will have plenty more Halloween to talk about over the coming weeks. Also, Halloween is, of course, happening at Hollywood. They announced it in Japan, and we've also got that new permanent Halloween Horror Nights location coming to Las Vegas,
Yes,
all
that's
right
exciting.
around the same time. So we will be choking on Halloween. All right. Next up, in other Universal Orlando news, the park is giving me a birthday present. August 18th, they are permanently closing Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit. And I think a lot of fans are saying it's about time. If you are a masochist or a chiropractor who likes getting patients off of this ride, your final day of operations will be August 17th. And after that, it will be giving way to a brand new project that we have some water management district filings confirming, and lots of speculation about what it is. But for now, we will be pouring one out to Rip Ride Rockit. Did you get a last ride in on it when you were here in town? And do you care?
I didn't get a last ride in on it. It was again kind of like one of those things. I'm good with it, like I'm good. I'm good. I love the I love the not quite the launch. I think the lift hill is so unique, and I'm surprised that doesn't exist on more coasters. That's my favorite part of the ride. I think everything after the initial incline is a little bit rough for my taste. But I do like that they still have the secret song menu that you can select, and I'm sure a lot of our readers have their own personal favorite. A lot of our listeners, I guess I should say, have their own personal favorite secret songs that maybe they want to get in on one last ride this summer.
Yep. I vote for the Rainbow Connection or Who Won't Get Fooled Again. Those are my two favorite picks.
Okay. Do you know their numbers off the top of your head for those?
I believe 902 and 130. But it's been a while. To be honest, this is one of those rides that I have to force myself to ride one time a year to verify for my unofficial guide to Universal Orlando that it still is painful and still is very missable unless you are collecting coaster credits. My most vivid memory of this is being there on the very first day that it operated with non-employees, which was also opening day. There was no soft openings for this. There was no it would just sort of like, they called us as the media and said we're opening this ride, you want to come out and ride it? And I got to interview the designer, and he was so proud that he had no roller coaster engineering experience or really design physics, any rational experience that you'd want a roller coaster designer to have. He just liked drawing cool shapes on a napkin and handing them off and saying, build this. And I think you can feel that every step of the way. I'm I'm very excited to see what comes next. We do have evidence that Intamin has been um, contracted to deliver a new attraction, and they are the ones who are behind the new Hollywood Drift spinning roller coaster that is going into Universal Hollywood. So there's a lot of speculation that it could be a version of that. But we've also got construction walls up around the firehouse, the Ghostbusters firehouse at the end of the street, and permits showing that a building will be going up as part of this, kind of behind that area.
Okay.
And the construction walls that we have that went up around Ghostbusters have references to the Ghostbusters and the firehouse being renewed. So there's speculation that maybe this could somehow be a Ghostbusters themed attraction. I personally would love the Ghostbusters to make a return in some form. I think if the cars were themed to Ecto One, that would be pretty cool. But I don't have any hard evidence to support that yet. So
There was a new wall that just went up
ah,
a couple days ago, and I was chatting with our social media manager Mikey about that, and I had asked him about if there was anything to read into about. It looked like there was a pet sign, like a construction emblem for like a pet area on the construction wall. And he said, no, actually, that's like an actual sign for a real, actual pet
that
relief area
that's
around the
that's this.
corner.
I think that's the temporary service animal
Yeah.
relief. Yeah. But
So
speaking of
not
construction
everything
walls,
is
yeah,
lore and
not everything is.
hints.
Though they did recently, add more. We saw that during the VIP tour that they not too long ago they added some more statues for Secret Life of Pets
Yes,
around
well,
that.
that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Like, oh, is it another hint like that? But it was like, no,
Well,
that's
if
an
they want to
actual.
take out Jimmy Fallon and replace that with the Secret Life of Pets ride from Hollywood, I'm all for it. But speaking of construction walls, in addition to the walls that are around the Ghostbusters firehouse back at the end of the New York Street, we also have some construction walls down in City Walk around the pathways near the Hard Rock Cafe. And that's down towards where the attraction makes its loop. There's also a really interesting, totally speculative video. I believe it's Amusement Insider, who's done other renderings of roller coasters of a kind of fan concept for what the coaster could be, and totally unofficial, but really interesting concept. Saw that on YouTube. So if you want to get a last back adjustment, if you have a bulging disc that you want just completely popped out of your spinal column, August 17th is your last chance to ride. Next up, Universal Orlando and Walt Disney World are both celebrating Pride Month 2025. They've got club on select nights at Universal Orlando, photo ops at Walt Disney World, and of course, rainbow merchandise all across the resorts. I'm going to go over some of the highlights here really quick. You can read our article at Attractions Magazine for all of the details. But Universal Orlando Pride headquarters is at the Red Coconut Club, which normally is only open, we see it mostly open for holiday special event makeovers now, but it's back to the actual Red Coconut Club for Love is Universal on Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays in June with drinks and DJs. And then they've got a Love is Universal merchandise collection, and 100% of those profits are going to local LGBTQIA plus nonprofits. And then next up, there's also some Pride-themed foods, including a Pink Pegasus vodka drink at Mythos and a Taste of the Rainbow vanilla cake roll over at Cowfish. Got
This
some great
flatbread
photos
at
of that.
Vivo looked spectacular. It's like different
Yes,
types of
it,
sauces and jams and
yeah,
stuff.
it's a focaccia, and they've got like It looks like a green pesto sauce, and yeah, each stripe is a different color of the rainbow, a different flavor. That does look really tasty. Um, if you hop on over to Walt Disney World, Disney Springs has a bunch of photo ops that we've got pictures of, and they even added a rainbow to the famous purple wall in Tomorrowland. Um, there is a Disney Pride collection created by allies and members of the community. And they are doing a Pride night out at Disneyland. If you're on the West Coast, that's happening on the 16th and 18th. And tickets were still available for $169 at the time that this article was posted.
Yeah, and
All
you
right.
got the little pride droid there. I
Yeah.
always it's always nice to remember that
Yeah,
there's a
the
special
Star
pride
Wars
droid.
crossover. Yep. Yeah, I do it's not is it an R5 series? I never I
I
I
believe it's
don't mean
listed right
to
up there in the paragraph.
uh
Scroll up a little bit.
yes, it is C1RN8W,
There you
which is
go.
the official Star Wars Pride droid. All right. In other Disney news, Disney Starlight, the first new nighttime parade in the lifetime of many of our listeners, probably, at the Magic Kingdom, is finally debuting on July 20th. But if you are a pass holder, you've got some new hoops to jump through. So if you are planning to attend, you might want to listen up and read our article on Attractions Magazine, where John Self broke down the new rules that are accompanying pass holders for the debut of Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away. This is the first time we've had a nighttime parade in Magic Kingdom in a long time, and the first new one since what, Spectro Magic, really?
Yes. Hmm.
First brand new nighttime parade. And that's going way back. I remember when Spectro Magic
Early
opened.
90s.
Yeah,
Yes.
yep.
Yeah.
So each of the floats on this is going to be a tribute to a Disney classic or a contemporary favorite. From the Blue Fairy of Pinocchio through Coco, Encanto, Frozen, Peter Pan, you name it. And of course, Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy are going to be there in new bright blue costumes. If you want to see this as a pass holder, July 19th is going to be the last day that you will be able to just bop on over to the Magic Kingdom on a weekday after 2 p.m. without any kind of reservation. The rules for pass holders right now are unless it is a good to go day, you have to have a reservation to enter the Magic Kingdom on a Saturday or Sunday, unless you've already entered another park. And currently, you could say enter Epcot without any kind of reservation, and then hop on over to the Magic Kingdom afterwards, and that would be okay. That loophole is kind of being tightened up. So starting on July 20th for a limited time, you can still enter Epcot, Disney Hollywood Studios, or Animal Kingdom after 2 p.m. without a reservation, but you will not then be able to hop over to Magic Kingdom. If you make a reservation to either Magic Kingdom or you make a reservation to one of the other 3 parks and use that, then you can hop over. But you won't be able to enter the Magic Kingdom at any time of day, including after 2 p.m., unless you have a theme park reservation to at least one of the parks. It is a little confusing, but I think I explained that okay. Blake, did that make sense to you?
I believe that is all good. Again, just reiterating, that's if you're a pass holder. So if you have
Yes.
regular, if you don't have a pass and you're just purchasing
Yes.
regular day-to-day admission,
You don't
you're
have to
good
worry about
anytime.
this.
Right.
Yeah. Disney has long since eased these reservation restrictions for people who are actually buying either a single day or a multi-day ticket. But this is if you have a pass, an annual pass or seasonal pass that has any kind of reservations, and you've gotten used to just going in after 2 p.m. To the Magic Kingdom, then that's not a choice anymore. Starting on July 20th. I'd say probably if your best bet is to try to make a reservation for the Magic Kingdom. Those are going to be a really hot commodity. I think they've said this is temporary. I expect this to last through the peak summer season while everyone's rushing to see this parade for the first time. I guess it's going to go away by late August or September. That's my hope, but no promises. And so if you're unable to get a reservation for the Magic Kingdom and you want to hop over, I think your best bet will probably be to get a Epcot reservation, use that, and then you will be able to hop to Magic Kingdom.
And then I guess if
using the
you're
monorail.
the other thing I would say is if you're planning ahead for a fall trip or a trip for the
Mhm.
end of the year, maybe just be conscientious of those calendar days for Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party or
Oh.
Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. We don't know what the schedule is going to look like for this new Disney Starlight Parade, if it's going to perform on those nights during regular park hours or not at all on those nights. So if this is a priority for you and you really want to see this new Magic Kingdom parade, I would maybe plan your Magic Kingdom day for a day that isn't on a party day, just to be on the safe side. But again, we don't know the exact days that this is going to be performing quite yet.
That is a really good point. We have not seen Magic Kingdom operate with a nighttime parade since they have expanded these special parties, especially the Halloween parties and the Christmas parties. They've grown exponentially in the number of dates they take up over the last decade since the last time there was a regular nighttime parade. So, I just saw this past week with grad nights over at the Disneyland Resort, how when you even DCA, which is the lesser of the two parks, only closing an hour early, instead of staying open till 10 and doing a 9 and a 10:15 World of Color, they cut back just one of the showings of World of Color. And just that totally shifts the attendance of people fleeing over to the other park.
Right.
Disneyland, you can do that, you can just hop from one to another, but in Disney World, people absolutely plan their days around a particular nighttime entertainment.
For sure.
We already see a significant drop in attendance on mornings and afternoons when there's going to be a party, and then the following day when people need to squeeze in that nighttime spectacular before they go home, there's a huge rush of people, and I think that's going to absolutely increase that even more. That's a really good point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that is going to just about bring us to the end of this week's News in the Queue. But before we get into our main attraction, we are going to hear a word from both of our sponsors.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and MEI-Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI-Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at MEI-Travel.com.
We built the Map Blazer app for theme park guests looking for help in deciding what order to visit their favorite attraction. Here is a quick demo video of the app with Universal Studios Hollywood. Once you log in, select a theme park from the list. Then build your itinerary from the attraction list. My Itinerary gives you the visit order along with wait times. You can download the app from the iPhone App Store or Android Google Play. Our app is available for the top Southern California theme parks.
It's time for the main attraction!
Okay, for this week's main attraction, as I mentioned, I was out in Disneyland, literally inside Disney California Adventure, when my phone started blowing up with just a little bit of news. Major changes are coming to Disney California Adventure. And I think a lot of people have been reporting this as part of the Disneyland Forward project. And this is kind of like Disneyland Forward, 0.9. It's not quite like Disneyland Forward, when it happens, will be taking place kind of more on the west side, in the west side parking lots. But this is the east side. And this is going to be a major expansion of Disneyland California Adventure into areas currently used by the bus loop. And it's going to kind of have a domino effect. We are finally getting that big parking garage way out on the east side, past the hotels on Harbor Boulevard. And a lot of plans that have been in motion for a long time, it looks like, are finally going to start happening as soon as late 25 and early 2026. So we are going to run down what these changes are. And the first is, if you have a soft spot for the Monsters, Inc. Mike and Sully to the Rescue ride in Disney California Adventure, get your last rides in now, like I did the other day, because it will be permanently closing sometime in early 2026 to make room for a brand new Avatar area. This is some pretty exciting news, and Blake did a really great job on Attractions Magazine of breaking down all of this information. So I'm actually going to kick it over to him to sort of run down real quickly, what are we losing here and what does it look like we're gaining?
Yeah, so this Avatar project, I guess if you want to call it that, the language around this, first of all, is a little bit kind of not very definitive, I would say, on Disney's part. They seem to be very intentional with their verbiage and calling it an Avatar destination rather than they're kind of not using Avatar ride. They're not saying Avatar land. So
Yeah.
it's still kind of up in there about what exactly this is. I think we can probably assume it's a large scale ride of some sort. However, the nature of that, what exactly the ride system is, we still don't really know officially at this time. But anyway, all that being said, go ahead.
They have strongly hinted through the concept art, though, that this is some sort of boat ride attraction.
Right.
We clearly see an emphasis on water, and we do know it is tied more to the sequel, which is set in water environments, and also the upcoming films, as opposed to the original film.
Right. So this is not a newly announced project. We've known about the Avatar. We've known about Avatar coming to California Adventure for about a year now, maybe a little bit longer than that in terms of like them teasing it. But formerly, we have known about it since last year at D23, along with another project that we'll talk about later. But the specific location of this project is what is the actual news here. So up until this point, we didn't know where in California Adventure Avatar was going. We now know that it is officially replacing Monsters Incorporated, Mike and Sully to the Rescue, and some of the surrounding Hollywood backlot area of California Adventure.
Yeah, I would expect there's a couple sound stages there that were used way in the day for I think there was a Tron arcade for a while, and they've had an Avengers store. I think once upon a time there was How to Be a Millionaire, or
Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Yeah.
A lot of big, empty, boxy sound stages. The one now we think that the main Hollywood Boulevard area that has the Disney Animation and the Disney Junior show, and maybe even up to the Hyperion Theater, which hopefully will get a show again someday. We think that might all be staying put, but I would love to see PhilharMagic become the new home for Muppet Vision, because honestly, I think most of Muppet Vision is probably still inside PhilharMagic, underneath the scenery that they slapped up. And then we could do a swap, because the Monsters, Inc. ride, which, if you don't know your deep Disney history, this started out as the Superstar Limo attraction, which is well known as the worst dark ride in Disney history. a ride that was so unpopular that it only lasted, I don't know, a few months, a year barely, before guest surveys said that we would rather have an empty building than this ride, and they just shut it down. And it eventually was reskinned with Monsters Inc. But if you pull the skin off of most of those animatronics, especially like the guys in the yellow suits, you'd find like Drew Carey and Jackie Chan and Antonio Banderas, really bad caricatures of them underneath. So what I am hoping is at least some of these animatronics, especially the Roz animatronic, which was one of their first living
That's right.
animatronics that
Yeah.
could see you and talk to you with an actor-controlled animatronic. I hope some of those are transplanted over to the Monsters Inc. attraction that is replacing Muppets. And then maybe Muppets, well, we know they're finding a home on Sunset Boulevard in Rock and Roller Coaster. But I would like to see them come home to the Hollywood area, or what's left of the Hollywood area at DCA once Avatar comes in.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of room. I mean, because not only, I mean, it's a whole Monsters Incorporated land that they're building in Hollywood Studios. So it's not just that signature Doors coaster.
Yes.
It's eateries, it's shops, it's
Well, there's
the
a
Muppet-
whole Ray Harryhausen's restaurant
Right.
scene in the ride, and they're building the whole restaurant.
Right, right.
And you know, the one thing that Pizza Rizzo was always missing was actual animatronic Muppets in the restaurant. Imagine if the Harryhausen's sushi bar actually had some animatronics in it. That would definitely be a step up. So we will be seeing all of this work happening in 2026 after the Monsters Inc. ride closes early that year, and I expect they block off that whole side. There's a little stage there that they use for like school shows and small shows during events, and they might have to reroute the exit of PhilharMagic a little, but I think it would be real easy for them just to wall that whole thing off. But even before that happens, it looks like in late 2025, so before the end of this year, they plan to break ground for the new Coco ride, which is also coming to Disney California Adventure. We don't know which is going to end up opening first or when they will open, but they will start work on this new boat ride, which promises to have lots of the latest audio animatronics technology, according to Josh D'Amaro. It really looks like a slow-moving dark ride in the spirit of the Mexico boat ride in Epcot, or Pirates, maybe, but with lots of animatronics, and I'm guessing projections also in the ceilings, set extensions to make the physical sets look even bigger.
Yeah, this is another one like Avatar. We knew about this ride previously, but we didn't know. It was kind of anybody's guessing game about where in California Adventure is the Coco ride going to be located. And now we know somewhere in the vicinity between, next to, alongside, near, however you want to say that, Paradise Gardens Park and Pixar Pier, toward that end of the park, in what is currently predominantly backstage areas. So as of right now, Disney has not announced if they haven't said anything is permanently closing to make way for this attraction. So that's best case scenario. I think you're getting a ride that seems to be well done, inspired by so the animatronic technology behind like Haunted Mansion and Pirates. That's a good thing. You have this amazing film that people have wanted to experience in a Disney park in a capacity like this for a long time, and it's not going to replace anything that people love. So I think it's kind of a win-win-win on all the boxes here, it seems like.
Yeah, you did a great job in this article on Attractions Magazine about and kind of analyzing the concept art and the angle that we see and lining that up with the current park map. And there was some speculation that this could maybe replace the Paradise Gardens area, where you have the Silly Swing, and then right across from it you've got the Boardwalk Pizza and another food stand. But this bandstand area is really lovely, and this has already often got a kind of Latin feel because they do the Plaza de Familia show during from Day of the Dead and Three Kings Day. They kind of take over this area with that already. We see in the concept art, as you point out, that the Miguel puppet that they use in that show is shown out in front of this area. So that could be kind of a natural extension of that and retheming it. And it does look like Goofy Sky School somehow is safe. You know, one of the jankiest coaster on Disney property is somehow still hanging on. But the interesting thing, as you point out, this is previous backstage area, and if you look at the official map of DCA, you know, they just kind of paint everything green, like there's a lush forest back there. But this is actually kind of backstage buildings and parking lots. And you know, when they built Toy Story Mania, and you can kind of see that in the front of the Pixar Pier logo, right in front of the loop of the Incredicoaster. That's a show building that's kind of back there along Catella Boulevard. And then the show, there's plenty of room back there to have a show building that's even larger, tucked right behind the roller coaster, and you wouldn't have to take out Emotional Whirlwind. You wouldn't have to take out the Incredicoaster. You can tuck a pretty sizable show building right back there. The only question is parade. Currently, exactly where you have marked with the star, where we think that entrance is, that is currently the gate where they bring in parades. And we know, especially with the Halloween parties,
That's right.
the Oogie Boogie Bash, that parade is a big part of that. So they've got to, however they do this project, I think it's going to have still some sort of parade access to that performance route, which stretches from there through Paradise Gardens and all the way back towards Hollywood.
Right. Great point.
So we are going to see construction start on this in the fall of 2025. So yeah, that right around when that Halloween parade should be running. So it'll be very interesting to see how they handle that for this coming fall. But these are some really exciting changes coming. I don't think any Disney park, you know, except maybe the studios in Paris when it's finally all said and done. But the transformation that DCA has gone through, it's like there isn't other than Grizzly, even that got a makeover. There's really nothing in that park that really resembles what it was on opening day anymore, which is kind of amazing for a Disney park.
I do believe there is still. Do they still show the bread bakery video?
They do. Yes, they still have Rosio.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
Yes. So that is probably the holdover. That's the last thing. That's very true. Yeah, it is kind of amazing how she is caught in a time warp in that. Her and is it Ryan Stiles from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yes,
Or
yeah.
The other one, yeah. They make a great team, but yeah, that video is just a little dated now, right? So lots of exciting things coming to DCA over the coming years. And like we said, get in your last rides on Monsters Inc. This is we could do a whole episode about how this is going to set up the construction of this new 6,000 spot parking garage, which they also announced. That is going on the east side, in where the cast member parking lot currently is. The Suncoast Park Hotel, which I stayed at a couple trips ago, which was a nice, very well priced hotel that's a little bit of a walk from the parks is now going to be directly across the street from this new parking garage and pedestrian bridge that's going to go over harbor.
Okay.
So I would look for those rates to jump real soon, just as soon as an opening date for that. That is going to completely transform the whole harbor entrance of Disneyland, the way that people enter the park, and eventually sets up the ability for them to take the Toy Story parking lot and turn that into a whole new gate, a whole new district. So a lot of exciting things. Disneyland Forward. This is the kind of the first step, and sets up a lot of exciting things that will be coming in the next few decades. All right. Well, before we wrap it up, let's take a look back at some of the comments that you left us. And we had Michael McKay checking in to say hello to you, Blake.
Hello.
Carmine, no problems that you were late. Glad that you could join us. Jeremy has a question. He heard that Rock and Roller Coaster changing to Muppets could prolong the intended expected expansion of what the other Monsters Land could intensify and delay based off projections. I am not entirely sure what that's a reference to. They've shown concept art of the Monsters area involving a roller coaster, some sort of theater attraction where the current Muppet Vision is, and then restaurants and shops. They haven't said anything about that happening in phases or being expanded. Have you heard anything like that, Blake?
No, we just know
Okay.
that Rock and Roller Coaster will become Muppets sometime in
Yep.
2026.
Yes, they did. They did confirm that this changeover is going to be finished by the end of 2026. They have not given us a final date yet, though, to ride the Aerosmith version. Is that correct?
Correct. They've said
Okay.
through 2025 you'll
Yep.
still have your chances to do
Yeah,
that.
much like Indiana Jones taking over Dinosaur.
Correct. Yep.
You
And
have
no timeline on the opening for
Yeah.
Monsters as well.
So if you're coming this Christmas, you got through the holiday season at least of 2025 to ride both of those classics. But all bets are off come New Year's, right? Okay. Of course, it would not be a podcast without both Cindy and Michael Bingham checking in. Thank you very much, and thank you, Captain Mickey Mouse, for watching your video, watching our videos. I really appreciate that. Michael McKay has been waiting for a Coco attraction and is glad that we finally have a better estimated date. And hey, I'll give Michael Bingham the last word. He's very excited about these future projects at Disneyland, and so are we. Okay, before we go, we want to give one last thank you to our sponsors, MEI-Travel, and this week's sponsor, Map Blazer app at mapblazer.com. I want to remind everyone to please give us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you happen to listen to us, and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. And be sure to follow us at attractionsmagazine.com and search for Attractions Magazine on your favorite social media accounts. Blake, where can folks keep up with you?
I manage our team of writers at attractionsmagazine.com. We have a lot of really, really cool interviews and stories recently, not only with Epic Universe, but there's been a lot of other really cool attractions opening at some of the regional parks that we have coverage of. And our big recent project is our very, very special souvenir Epic Universe grand opening print magazine that we are so proud of, so excited about. And you can get that at attractionsmagazine.com.
Buy a copy for yourself. Buy another second copy for your safety deposit vault. Buy copies for all your friends. It makes a great commemorative souvenir. It's been way too long since we had a print magazine. That's something that we started out as long before it was all about YouTube and blogs. It was a magazine, and it's great to be back to being one for at least one special issue.
Yeah, and it will be special to have that in the years to come,
Yeah.
I'm sure, of just
Absolutely.
To mark the moment of Epic Universe opening, definitely.
Well, you can find me at S. Kabursky and at The Unofficial Guides, and you can pick up copies of my books at theunofficialguides.com. And until next time, We hope you folks stay safe, try something new, and most importantly, have fun. And we will see you again next time. Bye.